Hello and welcome to another episode of Now About That with James and Sarah. I'm James.
And I'm Sarah.
And Sarah just woke up from a nap.
I did.
I'm not gonna lie, I just woke up from a nap a little bit ago too, because I have been up since 4 o'clock and I didn't go to sleep until like 3 o'clock. So got like zero sleep last night.
Oh my God. Well, I'm glad that I was not the only one who needed a nap.
But anyways, so this week we're gonna have a little chat. We don't really, again, it's another week that we didn't really plan anything. Last week we talked about Wicked, and this week we're gonna chat. I do have some updates for you that I can start with.
Okay, yeah, let's start with the updates.
So I was looking through the paperwork for my citation hearing that's scheduled March 21st. And I was reading and I looked at the statute or whatever it's called, the law, the quote unquote civil law. Is that what it is?
Mm-hmm.
Traffic law basically is what it was that I supposedly broke. And the one that's on the ticket isn't the same as the one that they put in the hearing paperwork. So I don't know if it was just like a clerical error and they need to fix it, or if something changed. But that's going to be like another thing that I have to bring up during the hearing, and just be like, I don't really know like why this changed, but the law is the law that it says that the meeting is for is like section 7A. And the actual one on the ticket is 7C. And 7A is all about obstructing a like fire vehicle or emergency vehicle responding to a fire. I'm like, well, that wasn't happening at all.
Okay.
But I looked at both of them, and either way, like the citation is, again, it says no more than $100. So even for that one, it's still, the citation's still wrong.
Right.
So, like, to me, it's going to be a pretty easy conversation that I'm going to have with the judge during the hearing, and just be like, here's like, I was changing lanes to get to my exit because it was coming up anyway. By the time that I got into the lane, there was no way for me to safely exit the lane. So I was technically following the law because I did slow down. So technically I am following the law. And then secondly, the law doesn't allow for it to be over $100, and it was written for $105. So yes, I get that that's semantics and it's only $5 adjust for inflation, but then the law should have changed and it shouldn't say $100, no more than $100.
Correct.
So to me, I feel like it's going to get thrown out anyway. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah. It's funny that you brought it up because I actually was going to ask about that today and just be like, so how's that going?
Oh, and
so it's nice to have that little update.
I didn't tell you that I got a hearing scheduled for the March 21st.
No, you didn't tell me the date.
Oh.
You told me that you were going to, but then never told me what happened with that.
Oh, I thought I talked about it last week because I got it last week.
I don't remember you mentioning it last week. I remember but then again, all I remember us talking about last week was Wicked.
Yeah.
So,
maybe I got it a couple weeks ago, but I thought I talked about it. But anyways, so that was fun. Just another thing to be like, this really shouldn't be, I shouldn't have to pay this ticket because obviously you people don't even have your shit together. So that's fun. And then yesterday, I had my interview, and it was kind of a waste of my time because it was an interview. It was like a pre-interview with the recruiter. And I was like, everything I told her, you could see on my, like on my resume and in my cover letter. So it's like, was this necessary? And she like ended it with asking, and it was fine. Like, we just had a conversation and I talked to her about like what I do and why I was interested in the role. And she was basically, she at the end, she was like, do you have any questions for me? And I was like, well, I don't know that you can answer any of my questions because they're going to be specifically about the position and like what's included in it. And you already said like a couple times during this interview that you don't know that much about the position other than what's included in the job posting, because it's a newer, it's like a different position that you don't know much about. And I was like, I don't know that. Like, I don't have any questions. I was like, I do. Like, I said something about, I am wondering about like the transition, because I'm a member of one of two people on a team. So it might take a minute, and I'm not really replaceable either. So that's going to be difficult to find. But then she brought up something about compensation. She was like, the switch could also be because there might be a change in compensation or whatever. And I was like, I doubt that there's going to be that much, if any, because I'm already like, it's the same pay band as the job that I am currently in. And it's the same like level. I'm a senior. It's moving into a senior. And it's like they have these professional levels, and I'm at a P4, and this is also a P4. So I was like, it's not really changing that much. So I doubt that there's going to be any compensation change. But she did say she was like, yeah, I think you might fall into the same. I don't know. I haven't looked. But there could potentially be. I was like, well, I'm right at like the mid range of my pay band. So I'm like this year with my performance review that's coming up next week and the new salary raise, whatever, I'll probably be like just over the middle of my salary ratio.
Okay.
So it's interesting. So I don't know. We'll see. She said that she would reach out to the hiring manager, and she was suggesting that I would move forward with interviews, and they would be reaching out over the next week or so to schedule a follow-up interview.
Okay, then.
So we'll see. And then like we can, like, if I do get offered, I'll just have to think about it and talk about it, because I don't know that to me, it's a lateral move, which is fine. I just wish it was a lot. Like I don't like going into a new position that's not a bump, because then it's like I've already been in that. But this was one of the things that made me hesitant to move over to Quincy, because it wasn't a bump. It was the same. It was the same thing, a lateral move. And I had to like everything. You always had like, for some reason, I've always had to like really fight to get a promotion with this company, which I don't understand why I have to fight so hard, when like right now I'm working with people that their entire team fights with each other and they just got promoted. So like, you don't have a functioning team. Why did this person get promoted? I don't understand. And like, I can't get promoted any further because I'm at the highest level I can go without going into the same level as my supervisor, the person that's currently supervising me. And she can't really supervise me if I'm at the same level as her. So right. It's like, I'm like, can we just change us both to a manager 1 and then both report to your manager? I don't understand why this is a thing. And she's totally fine with that. I don't really know why it's not happening, because it's like there's a lot of bureaucracy around it. It's annoying. So that's fun. That's all that's happened this week that I really have. It was a boring week, busy week, school, work, all that jazz. I'm waiting to see what I got on my assignment for this week, because it wasn't rushed because I got it done before 10 p.m., but I didn't start working on it until the day of.
You know,
I did post my discussion boards earlier this week, so that's one step. One step in the right direction. I didn't post them until Monday. Instead of posting the initial one on Tuesday and then responding to everybody on Tuesday. I posted my initial one on Monday, responded, and then responded to a couple more people on Tuesday.
There you go. Well, it hasn't been that interesting on my end either. I feel like this week took forever. I've just been so bogged down with everything going on in the world, and then working, and just honestly, I'm feeling a little lost, but yeah, it was pretty boring for me.
Sarah got a very panicked call from her friend because she wasn't answering any text messages or any messages. And I was like, we haven't heard from you since February 1st. Where are you? What is going on? Give me a call back when you get this.
Yeah. There was that. I was on date night with Nick, and I just happened to look over at my phone because I usually have my phone put away. And I was just like, oh my God, I missed 2 calls from Ryan. I was like, an emergency. There's an emergency. Oh my God, I got to call back. So I called back, and it turns out I was the emergency.
I was like literally an hour or 2 away from calling and asking for a
welfare check.
Yeah.
That
like,
is so valid.
I was like, I might wait until tomorrow. And if I don't hear anything from her until tomorrow, I'm going to call. And I have your address because I've ordered food for you down there.
Yeah.
So I was like, I need you to check on her. I haven't heard from her since February 1st.
I know. And that's really abnormal for me. The cause for alarm was just because I was having issues getting Discord to cooperate going on my phone. I am just very technology challenged. I can own that.
You can remove the word technology and just leave it at that.
Listen. True, but specifically in this instance, technology challenge.
You can also, in some instances, add the letters ing at the end, and it's still valid.
True. But so I thought it was going to be easy getting it on my phone, and then for some reason it wasn't, and like I couldn't figure out why it wasn't loading any of my friends. Like, that was my issue. I was just like, why is this not loading my friends or anything? I was like, I know I do stuff on Discord. And then I realized then I realized that I had signed into the wrong account. And then I was just like, oh. And as soon as I signed into the correct account, everything was there. Weird. But I was just like, man, what is going on? No, it was literally, I just signed into the wrong account.
So did you sign in using the wrong email address, I'm assuming?
Yeah. So I guess at one point, I vaguely remember this. At one point, I had gotten accidentally locked out of my Discord. And so I had tried to get logged back in, and it set up a whole new account with a different email instead. And so then I was like, oh, that's why. Okay. Because I was looking at it and I was just like, yeah, it says 2021. That's when I originally got Discord. Like, I don't understand. You know, my picture's not here. Nothing's here. And then I was just like, wait.
I'm a dunce.
Yep. That feels like my week this week, to be honest. I was verifying insurance for somebody. I put the wrong information down. And then one of my coworkers just like, Sarah, it literally says it right there on the paperwork that you uploaded. And I was just like, wait, it does? And then I go and I look at the paperwork that I uploaded, and it literally said, I was like, wow. I'm dumb. I'm really struggling. So this week has been a little tough, friends.
I've been, whenever I have like time to just sit and do nothing, I've been watching Bones still, and I'm on season 7.
Oh, dang.
And these aren't like, they're like 40+ minute episodes, and there's 22 every season.
Right. You are making some serious progress.
I think I have a problem.
Okay.
So my family I have a terrible history with my family with addictive personalities. Like my dad with alcohol, my mom with drugs, my brother and sister with drugs and laziness and alcohol. And I just like, I look at it and I'm like, my addiction is TV and food. Like mine aren't as unhealthy. Maybe we'll see. Unhealthy. I say that as I stay up until like 2 a.m. watching them. Then I have to get up at 6 a.m. That's not why I didn't fall asleep last night. I just couldn't get to sleep for some reason. Because I actually stopped watching stuff on TikTok and like Instagram and everything and Peacock by like 10 o'clock.
So you were just laying there trying to
the
silence the voices in your head.
Well, I did just download this new game that I was playing called Hexaway. And it's not hex as in like witchcraft hex. It's hex as in like the
symbol,
the shape.
The shape, yeah. I have a game called Hex Cells that I play. And it's a puzzle game.
Interesting.
Yeah. As I am moving forward with my removing myself from Facebook.
Oh yeah, we didn't even talk about why we were moving, like why we were messaging on Discord, because I've never really used Discord. We talked about it a few years ago, where we're the group chat that we have on Facebook Messenger. We were going to move over, but then we never did. And then Sarah, go ahead with what you were going to say.
So then I over here was just like, I'm leaving Facebook because fuck this shit. So I wrote Sam and Ryan and I was just like, hey, can we move to a different platform? And so we are now on Discord. And I have been going through the process of like, letting people know. Yesterday I started like individually messaging people, just being like, hey, just so you know, I am leaving Facebook. My goal is to have the profile completely emptied and deactivated by the end of this month. That is my goal. So I started like individually messaging people and just being like, hey, if you want to stay in touch, here's my phone number. You can feel free to text me. Or if you're interested, I've started writing people letters again.
Yeah, I honestly don't understand why we don't just message like in a regular like text message, our group message.
Right.
I just like you and Sam are really the only thing I use Messenger for, because I don't use Facebook at all. Like my account's still active, but I just don't. I don't. It's not on my phone. I don't access it very often unless Ryan or somebody sends me a message, like a video or something from Facebook. I don't actively use it, and I haven't for a long time. Like I did a little bit there because I wanted to learn more about the Mustang Mach-E's, but then like that whole group just got super toxic, and I was like, I don't want to hear or deal with any of you people because you're not like it. People were posting stupid things like, how do I turn my windshield wipers off? And it's like, you're dumb. You're dumb. You shouldn't be driving.
You can't figure out how to turn your windshield wipers off.
And then like people were asking questions, but like other people had already asked the same question, and it's like either go back and look, do a little research. Don't just come and ask people, or look in, like, you have access to a digital like document that tells you everything about your car in your car. Just look for it in your car.
Right.
But then like people were being really rude about like stupid questions, and it's like all you had to do was just answer the question or ignore it.
Right.
Like, I get it. It's annoying to see some person ask the same question about pushing the button to open the door. Sometimes it doesn't work, but it's like, it's Facebook. People are stupid. They don't do their research. They just go on and ask questions or make stupid statements.
Yeah.
That's Facebook.
And that's one of the reasons why I'm leaving. But the other reason, though, is and like we talked about this in our conversations outside of the podcast, about how now I don't really get to see any of my friends' posts, because it's all these groups that I'm not following. It's all, political ads. It's all this shit. And I'm like, I can't even, if I see some of my friends' posts, sometimes it's like weeks after they posted it.
Yeah.
So like, what's the point?
I've noticed that somewhat on Instagram, and it's less like political ads. I don't really get very many of those. Although like ACLU, I do get ACLU ads and stuff like that. But that's because I interact with the ACLU a lot on Instagram. But I get, whenever I'm watching reels, for some reason, I get a lot of like really strange ads that pop up there.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I don't really like reels. Like we talked about it a couple of episodes back, and it's like everything is like specifically about Christian, like, are you a Christian male that wants to lose weight or something like, and I'm like, why is this even coming up on my reels? That doesn't make any sense. I don't understand.
Right.
And that's one of the reasons I don't really like reels. And Ryan keeps sending me them, and Sarah or Kristen sends me some every now and then. And I'm like, I don't watch these because I don't want to, because they're stupid. Like, it's weird how different I interact with TikTok and reels, because with TikTok, it's like we've talked about it before. I want the sound on because I want to hear what's going on in the video, and I want to listen to it and watch stuff. On Instagram Reels, I can like lay in bed and scroll through with the sound off, because it's not important what's going on in the sound in the video.
Yeah.
And then like you'll get served a video on that little like carousel of things that you can watch while you're scrolling through Instagram. And then when you go in and then you try and scroll, you'll scroll, and like the next video you just watched the same video on a different video that you scrolled afterward. So like on that same carousel, you go from this video to the one next to it, and if you scroll after, like down at the next one, like I just watched this one and that one, that group. So it's like it doesn't make any sense. It's ridiculous. Yeah.
It's weird. And like the reason that I have been watching Instagram Reels, going back to like what you were saying about having a problem, I've had to really limit myself on TikTok, because I get into these scrolling loops and I just can't.
Uh-oh. All right, we're back. Sarah's having technological issues, just being Sarah.
When am I not? Literally. Anyway, I don't remember what I was saying now.
We were talking about like getting into scroll loops in TikTok and why you had to.
Yeah. So I generally, if I want to watch videos, I will go and I'll watch them on Instagram Reels, because it's easier for me to break out of the loop. Because Instagram's algorithm and like Facebook Shorts algorithms are not based on like, they're just not as comprehensive as TikTok is. So it's a lot easier for several videos in a row to like pop up that I'm like, oh, I'm not interested in this. And then it's easier for me to break out of that loop of doom scrolling and like move on. But like as soon as I'm on TikTok, man, the next thing I know, it's 2 hours later.
Well, I think the thing with TikTok is now they have videos that you can watch for an hour. Like they have hour-long videos available now. And I'm like, that's not what this platform originally was. It was like a minute, 10 minutes at most. But now there's some that are an hour long. I'm like, how is this? This isn't short form content anymore.
Right. At that point, you might as well just go back over to YouTube.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I love YouTube. I will stand by her for a while.
Yeah. They did just reduce their DE&I activities, and
well, that's not shocking. They're related to Google, and Google just got rid of theirs too.
Yeah. Oh no, it was Google. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Which I think it's technically called Alphabet. Is like the overall
the
arching
company.
Yeah.
Interesting. The one time that I like really tried to get into like investing, Alphabet is one of the companies that I was investing in. But
yeah, Alphabet Incorporated is
that didn't last very long
Google
for me.
Parent organization.
I don't understand stocks, so it didn't last very long.
I don't either. I had obviously I have some in my 401k. It invests like the company that runs my 401k invests however they do it.
Right.
But I bought stock as through Boston Scientific for a little bit for Boston Scientific. But then I was like, this is dumb because I keep I'd have it would build up and it would be like a couple $1,000s. Then I would sell it and cash out. That's not what you're supposed to do, obviously, but
right. But I don't know. I'm just a girl in the world. Sorry. That's all I think about right now. But yeah, no, I tried to get into stocks and investing because I was just I want to be an adult. And then I was like, this is really complicated and I don't understand. So I'm just going to politely uninvite myself from this. So. Have any exciting plans for this weekend?
No, not really. I was actually just getting ready to message Ryan and ask if we should decide tonight what get something. I can go to the store tomorrow and get something because we're supposed to get between 5 and 7 inches of snow on Sunday.
Oh, dang.
Although it said we were supposed to get 2 to 4 inches of snow on Tuesday, and we ended up getting maybe 1.5 after it's finally stopped, and then the temperature went back up to over 40 degrees, so it all basically melted.
Yeah.
But it says it's supposed to start snowing Saturday evening and snow until Tuesday afternoon, and should be between 6 and 7 inches of snow.
Dang.
So I'm I don't really think we need to drive around and go somewhere in the snow. So I'm thinking we should figure out what we want to do, get for lunch or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I can go to the store tomorrow and get stuff.
Right.
And then we can just have a day in instead of what we typically do on Sunday, where we go and grab lunch and then get coffee or go to run an errand or something and then come back home.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't make sense to get out in the snow, especially if it's going to be 6 or 7 inches.
Yeah, that's quite a decent amount of snow.
Yeah.
In the meantime, over here, we have had record highs this week.
Didn't you were you guys snow like a couple weeks ago or last week?
Yeah. Yeah. It was 82 degrees
That's fun.
this week. It was a record high for this time of year. So that's a thing. I'm just like, okay. I used to make the joke all the time back when we lived in Indiana. Just wait 5 minutes, it'll change. And I heard people here in Texas say that a few times, but in my experience, it was never as extreme as it would get back in Indiana. This is the first time that I was just like, no, yes, I'm used to this bipolarness.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So I don't have anything really exciting going on this weekend either. I'm gonna hang out with one of my coworkers tomorrow. I don't remember what time we're meeting up. I gotta text her. So sorry. And then Sunday I have a date. It's just a coffee date. And that's it. Like I gotta clean my room. We have a house inspection. So, okay, I don't know if I told you this. Our managing company, we rent a house, and the company who manages our lease changed.
Ew.
So the new company, they made us fill out like the application all over again, which was annoying. And then like they had somebody come and like look at the keys and not the keys, look at the locks and all that, to see if they needed updating. They gave us a new key, but they didn't change the locks. Anyway.
Well, that you probably, I don't know if like your house has like the locks where you can change the key, but not change the lock.
Maybe.
So there's like ours, there's like this little tiny hole next to the key, like to the keyhole, where they put in like this like programmer thing, and it like you have to put in the current key, put this little programmer thing in, and then it will like reset the pins in the lock.
Oh.
And then you put in the new key and put the thing in again, and it programs it to the, like not programs it, but it sets the
adjusts
the tumblers to the new key.
I wonder if that's what happened. That's possible. He just gave us a new key. And then they want a house inspection. So I guess next week that's what's happening. So we all have to like clean stuff up and, make sure that everything's easily accessible for them to come in, do this inspection.
Yeah.
But it's like, what's the point of coming and doing this inspection? Like when we've already been living here for like 3 years. Like I haven't been living here for 3 years. I've been living here for, 2 years this year. But the girls that I live with, they were living here for at least a year before I moved in. So I'm just like, it seems awfully silly to, and like, I guess some of the people in the new management company didn't even realize that we had already been living here. So like I received messages saying that I needed to like make an appointment to do XYZ, and I wrote them back and I was just like, I already live here. Like they were wanting to do like a new move-in inspection, and I was just like, I've been living here.
Just like, I'm not doing this.
I'm like, I'm already here, friend. I'm already established. I'm already on this lease. I don't know what you're talking about.
You're like, new. I'm not new.
Not me.
You're new.
Exactly. So, but they're apparently telling us that they're not going to, because we tried to put in some work orders for some issues that we've been having.
Yeah.
Which, like, good luck trying to get the last management company to do anything that we asked them to do ever. So, like, we're really glad that we got a new management company, but then at the same time, the new management company is like, oh no, we won't complete any orders until we do our house inspection.
Yeah. I mean, that kind of makes sense because they have to see if it's like, is it due to resident negligence or is it due to like just issues with the building, like the house?
Right. Which, like, I kind of understand, but then at the same time, I'm over here like, please.
Yeah.
These are issues that we've been trying to get taken care of for months.
Yeah, that's interesting. I just remembered I had an issue that came up the other day, and it's very first world problems issue. So I got a Google Nest thermostat, right?
Mm-hmm.
We talked about it, and I got it, like I installed it and everything, and it works fine.
Yeah.
But on Tuesday, I think it was, I went to work and I came back and I walked up to it, and typically when you walk by it, it lights up and tells you like what the current temperature is, and then it shows you the settings. Mm-hmm. It wasn't doing that until I got like really close to it and like then touched it, and then it would come on. And I looked and I was like, what's going on? So then I was like messing with it and it wouldn't connect to the internet. So it's a smart thermostat where I can control it from anywhere using the app, but it wasn't connecting to the internet, and it had been trying to connect to the internet all day, so much so that the battery inside it had like drained basically. So it wasn't doing anything. It was in like a power save mode so that it could charge the battery. And I was like, well, that's weird. So I let it charge. I actually took it off the mount and then put it like aside and let it charge off the mount, but on its own little cord.
Yeah.
And then when I put it back on, I was like, okay, well, let's see. Maybe it's like the battery is going bad, or maybe it, for some reason, one of the wires came loose. And I like readjusted the wires and they were all working fine. So I put it back on and I was like trying to connect it back to the internet, and it just couldn't find any Wi-Fi networks available. I was like, well, that's strange. So I looked it up online. There was an error code that came up, and I looked it up online and it said, well, do these steps and see if that fixes it. And I tried it and it still wouldn't connect to the internet. So I got online. This is one of the reasons the other day I didn't go to sleep until like 2 a.m. I was talking with like the Google help people, like the service chat, whatever. And they scheduled it to where I told them all that I had done. And she goes, okay, well, let me know what the code is, not the code, the serial number thing. Jeez. Let me know what the serial number is, and I can look it up, and then we can look into what your options are for a warranty exchange. So she looked up and she was like, okay, it looks like you have two options. You can give us a credit card and we can put it on hold, send you a new one, and then when we receive your old one, as long as there's no damage or anything like that, we will reverse we'll let go, remove the hold on your credit card. Or you can send us the one that you have, and then we'll send you a new one, and you won't have to put anything on hold. And I was like, well, I don't want to do that, because then I won't have a thermostat for however long it takes you to send me a new one. So I asked them to send me a new one, and the next day I went in and I was like, I'm going to try one more thing and do like a factory reset on it. And I went in and I factory reset on it, and then it went to go do its setup steps, and it wouldn't let me go past connecting to Wi-Fi. So for like a few hours that day, I couldn't change the temperature in the apartment. And it was like going into the evening, and like overnight it got down to like 60 degrees in here. And I was like, oh no. And then the next day I was like, I made it reset again. And then I got to the part where it's asking for the internet, and I asked it to skip so that I could get it to where I could connect it and change the temperature in here. But it was like for one day I had to go without being able to change my thermostat because I accidentally factory reset it. And Ryan was like, "You just couldn't leave it alone, could you?" I was like, "No, I wanted to try and see if I could fix it. And maybe it was just it needed to be factory reset, and I didn't know that would completely lock me out because it's having internet issues." But I just got the new one yesterday and installed it, and I need to take the one that the replacement and send it, or the bad one, and send it off. But I guess it's a common thing for them, and they are just replacing them when it happens. And I noticed that the one that they sent me, so the way that it works, if you want to change it or like save a setting or do anything, you push in on it and it like pops a little bit. The new one, it's a much more pronounced like pop whenever you push, like click. It's not really a pop. It's like a click, like when you're clicking on a mouse or something. So I'm assuming like something changed, like they changed something about the inner workings, because the one that I am returning, it's a very softer click than the other one. Wow. So that was interesting.
Oh my Lord. It's so funny because I literally can hear Ryan saying, "You just had to mess with it," in my head.
He just looked at me. He's like, "You just couldn't leave it alone, could you?" It's like, no, I wanted to see if I could fix it. It's that thing where if you have IT issues, you want to try and make sure you do. Well, me personally, I want to try and make sure I do everything I can until I reach out to someone, because I want to be like, I don't want to ask someone to fix something if it's something simple like just reset it.
Right. I get that, because I'm the same way. It's like I'll wait to call IT, especially at work. I'll wait to call IT until I've done like everything I can possibly think of, because I am not about to feel stupid.
Yeah. And then like I have this issue with my work laptop where for some reason, every now and then the Bluetooth will stop working, and my mouse and my keyboard are Bluetooth operated. So like I can't use my mouse and keyboard, and I have to like go back to using the computer, the laptop keyboard and mouse, which I'm totally fine with, but I'm like, that shouldn't be a thing. And I've had to take it to them a couple times, and you have to delete the Bluetooth drivers and then restart your computer. I'm like, that doesn't seem like that's okay.
That sounds really overly complicated.
It's not as complicated as it sounds, because you just have to go into the control panel and search for the Bluetooth drivers and then just remove them.
Yeah, I guess.
So they showed me how to do it, and once they showed me how to do it, I now know I don't have to go back to them anymore, and I just fix it myself.
Right.
And that's my thing, and that's one of the things I said during that pre-screen interview. I was like, I might not currently have the access or ability to use like the software that they might be using. But once I get access and I start using it, I'm usually I master it pretty quickly. Right. And like I became a global SME for our e-learning software that we use now for one of our systems. So anytime anyone has questions or issues, they always email me and message me, and like, it doesn't take me very long to learn systems. So if that's a hesitation just because I don't currently have access to the system, then it shouldn't be, because it takes me no time.
Right. Whereas it takes me forever.
Sarah still has a hard time opening her phone.
Correct.
She just sits there smacking her phone. What?
Yes, correct. Because I'm essentially a caveman.
That's funny. Well, do you have anything fun planned for the weekend?
No, I mean, I do have a date.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Sunday. But yeah, I was like going on dates for a while, and then I don't know, everything. I had to slow everything down because the depression kicked in. So
Herpes flare up.
clearly, I don't have herpes. For the record,
A genital warts flare up. Okay.
no. Oh my god, I do not have at this time any sexually transmitted infections. At this time.
Oh.
I did have HPV for a while, but that has cleared up. And I don't have anything anymore. Because they took it all for my surgery.
That doesn't mean you still can't get an STI.
No, that's true. I can still get an STI. It would just be limited to what I have left.
Crabs.
I'm just like, it's not going anywhere. Really interesting. It's so funny because the other day, we've talked about like my journey through menopause and everything. And like hot flashes are the worst. I haven't been having hot flashes. Like I've been pretty okay recently. But then the other day I was at work and I started having a major hot flash. And I was like, oh my God, I am like, whoo, I am on fire. So the lady next to me that I was working with, she was just like, you're too young to have menopause. And I was just like, I had cancer. So I am in medical menopause. And she was like, oh, gross. Just like,
that's also a misconception too, because you can technically go through menopause at any time. It's really
true.
Just everyone's body is different.
Everybody's body is different.
Everybody's different.
Yeah. But it's just always amusing to me because I'll be like, no. I had cancer. And so,
that's the thing I don't understand about people. It's like you can't just jump to a conclusion and make a statement about someone else's life or body because you don't know. It's like
right.
You don't know what they're going through. I don't remember what it was, but I watched a video the other day, or maybe we talked about it last week, where I watched a video and it was the delivery driver talking to telling the kid to go back into the house.
Oh, yeah.
And the woman was upset. And I was like, you don't know what that delivery driver was going through that day.
Right.
So you can't just make a snap judgment. Could she have been more polite about what she was doing? Yes. Is she required to? No. Does she need to justify her reasoning? Also, no.
I know. And it is really weird for me because especially if I'm talking to somebody who is older than me, and I'm just like, yeah, no, I'm going through menopause. And the response is always, oh, you're too young for that. Oh, you're too young for that. Oh, you're too young for that. And I'm just like, okay, but that's not entirely true because my grandmother went through menopause in her 30s without having to have a full hysterectomy like I did.
Yeah.
So historically in my family, that's a thing. My grandmother went through menopause early. I'm going through menopause early, but I'm going through menopause early because I threw the short end of the stick. So
this isn't anything in comparison, but it's like the same thing where people talk about kids. They're like, oh, you'll want to have kids. It's like, no, I won't.
Right. Don't just assume that somebody's going to change their mind on something just because you did.
I'll want to have dogs.
Yeah.
You'll never catch me wanting to have a kid.
There. That's fair. That's fair.
I hate children. All variations of them.
We know.
Put it in a box. Get it away from me.
We're aware. No, it's just really aggravating. But it's not just that. I remember when I was younger too, that a lot of the doctors were really dismissive of things that I had issues with and would tell me, oh, you're too young for that. And I'm like, Okay, but there's actually no age limit on a lot of health issues.
No, it's crazy.
Just because people tend to go through, certain issues when they're older, doesn't mean that that's the way it is across the board.
Yeah, just because the general demographic is an older age, and that's typically what happens with some sort of disease or illness, doesn't mean that that's like there are some anomalies.
Yeah. Like, there are exceptions to almost every rule. But anyway.
Well, would you like to call it a podcast?
Yeah, I think we can call it a podcast.
I need to figure out what to cook for dinner, even though it's just after 7 here, because like I'm trying to decide if I want to just do something quick and easy like dirty rice, because we have hamburger and the like rice mix. But I'm also kind of like, I kind of want to do, Ryan got some like au gratin potatoes like thing, but it usually takes 25 minutes to cook that anyway. But I'm thinking about taking the hamburger, browning it, and then combining it with the au gratin potatoes and then baking it.
That sounds tasty.
And doing that. But I also am just like, I just want to do something quick and easy and just make the dirty rice, because that takes the same 25 minutes, where I wouldn't have to brown the hamburger and then wait for the oven to heat up and put it in the oven and wait for it to cook. Nice. I might just do dirty rice.
Just do the dirty rice.
I think so.
I don't know what I'm going to eat because eating is difficult for me.
Cardboard.
Sure.
Just munch on some cardboard.
I mean, I definitely need more fiber in my diet, so sure. Cardboard it is.
And toxic chemicals. Why not?
And toxic chemicals, because, it's the end of the world as we know it anyway.
All right. Well, you ready to call it a podcast?
Yeah, I think I'm ready.
All right. Well, thank you for listening to this week's episode of Now About That with James and Sarah. If you like this episode, please give us a like, a comment. Don't forget to follow or subscribe. If you would leave us a review in Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen, as this will help get the podcast out to more people and help us grow. Feel free to follow us on social media. Our handle everywhere is at Now About That Pod. So if we don't come up in the search, we're not on that platform. If there's something you would like us to discuss on the podcast, feel free to email us at nowaboutthatpod@gmail.com. Visit our website, www.nowaboutthatproductions.com, or you can call and leave us voicemail or send us a text message with anything you would like us to discuss on the podcast. Our phone number is 765-557-4170. Thanks again for listening, and we hope you have a great week, since this will be coming out on Monday. Sarah, enjoy your weekend and have fun at your coffee date.
You have fun this weekend as well. Stay safe and warm.
You say cool, I guess, because it's 80 there.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Bye, everybody.